Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushua, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushua, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushua. Call the name La Adonai Yahweh, Bashem Shamalak Yahushua, Bashem Kakadash, Tawana to the Apostle and Elsewhere, Millstone, Presentation of Full. And so this video is going to be the Roe versus Wade overturn is leading to people demanding for mandatory castration for all men. And see that this title of the video from unilad.co.uk is people are calling for mandatory castration following Roe versus Wade ruling in June 29, 2022. So they claim that in this picture abortion will not end, and it's saying that people are calling for the U.S. to consider introducing chemical castration for all men following the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And it says chemical castration is a very real medical procedure that involves the use of aphrodisiac drugs or chemicals to stop the production of sex hormones, namely testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, which is DHT. After millions of women across the states lost their legal rights to have an abortion last week, people have been suggesting new solutions to prevent unwanted pregnancies. And it says take it to Twitter to brainstorm the idea. One user sarcastically suggested, in quotation, the real solution to unwanted pregnancy would be chemical castration of every age male. After a male's spermarchy or something, spermarch, aphrodisiac drugs are prescribed until deemed mentally and financially stable to bear children. Sounds reasonable. Hashtag Roe versus Wade. In quotation. A second pointed out, in quote, land of the free for the males, especially white males, castration would eliminate the need for abortion. Just saying. And the third added, in quote, now that Roe versus Wade is overturned, the U.S. Supreme Court should now consider chemical castration of every reproductive male to protect reproductive rights of every female and require males to donate sperm for IVF family planning, thus eliminating the need for contraception of abortion. Abortion. Yeah, or abortion. Let me see. Someone named Musa Sheed, Shead, Musa Shed, I meant. I seen the Twitter account and it seemed like probably was an Edomite, from the picture that I was looking at on this account. And this person says abortion bans don't prevent abortions, only safe abortions. Chemical castration is a thing though. Just putting it out there. And it goes for and then he put hashtag my body, my choice. So this person might seem like I don't know, like I don't know if he's against abortion or so. It's not really too clear, but this one, nigga woman says all boys at age of puberty need to be mandated chemical castration or vasectomy, since the damn Supreme Court gets to overturn Roe versus Wade and tell U.S. women that we can and can't do with our bodies. This is a clear example in my eyes of an abortion of justice. Someone named Brittany Rambo. And it says, undergoing a chemical castration involves regular doctor's appointment, during which a patient will either be administered the drugs by injection or through implants. And according to Healthline, side effects of the procedure can include erectile dysfunction, reduced sexual desire, growth of breast tissue, and shrinkage of the testicles and penis. It says, while chemical castration might not sound like the most reasonable solution, the point is that policing the bodies of half of the U.S. population is unreasonable. And it says, lawmaker Mickey Dolenz has meanwhile proposed that young men in his state of Oklahoma be forced to have vasectomies, which would only be reversed once a man could prove that he was financially and emotionally stable. So it's like that right there is in Oklahoma. It seems like they just want to have people that are financially stable to have kids, and those that are not financially stable have to get a vasectomy mandatorily, which is very fucking sick, if you ask me. And once again, the suggestion was made to prove a point. Oklahoma is currently the strictest state in the U.S. on abortion rights, having already given final approval on a bill that bans abortions from the moment of fertilization in almost all cases. It says, responding to Republicans who thought this idea was crazy, Dolan said, maybe you understand how 50% of Oklahomans feel. The Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade last weekend has sparked widespread condemnation, with large protests already spreading across the U.S. and international figures using their platforms to speak out against the ruling. Now that the women are no longer protected by the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling, it is expected that the U.S. states will begin enforcing individual abortion bans. 13 states have already moved to pass trigger laws that automatically outlaw abortion, with more states expected to enforce new legal restrictions in the near future. Alright, with that, I'll just pretty much bring out some scriptures, Lord willing. Make this lesson edifying so you'll hope for a lot. So Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 1 says, he that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. See, one thing about the Heavenly Father is that Most High is pro-life, you know. So for all this shit that pretty much like that Esau promotes, like vasectomy, that he even at one point was like promoting all these abortions and shit, even though they still do it because like the overturn of the Roe versus Wade, there's still some states that are legal where they have like abortion clinics and shit like that. But it's like, there's some states that made that shit, illegal. So it's not illegal. It's not illegal in all states. There's still some states where abortion is legal. But very soon, who knows? It might be illegal in all states because they made that Supreme Court rule to pretty much to ban abortions. And one thing about the Most High, he made it as a commandment to multiply and replenish the earth. One thing about this devil Esau is like, he is causing a lot of confusion, and he's making it seem like this earth is overpopulated, and he's trying to find ways to think that he could control the population, even going as far as to thinking that he could control, people's what you call it, like people's bodies, like, so like even with the men, trying to go as far as to in Oklahoma to mandatorily castrating men, like with some chemicals, well, giving them like vasectomies. That's really unlawful. And now the so-called black woman over there talking about, since she can't have a right with her body, that she could feel free to have this, that men should go as far as to basically getting chemically castrated. That's what she said. Since she pretty much was speaking against the overturn of Roe versus Wade. So she think the same shit should happen to men, like where they can't, plant their seed in a woman. So That's just showing you right there that these women are just wicked as hell, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And the scriptures say in Isaiah 45 verse 9, woe unto him that strive with his maker. Let the pot herd strive with the pot's herd of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioneth it, what makest thou, or thy work he hath no hands? Exactly. So who the hell are you, Esau, to think that you could pass a law and make it mandatory in certain states, like in Oklahoma, to try to mandatorily castrate men, that are not financially and emotionally stable. That's really an unrighteous decree. I'll bring out another precept that goes along with that. In Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And that right there, they're already trying to make men not have the ability to be fathers, in Oklahoma, with that mandatory chemical castration. That's really unlawful. And they said one of the what you call it, I think it was like a I don't know if it was a governor or the state president in Oklahoma. One of those politicians did mention that he like that's what he wanted to do towards men who weren't financially and emotionally stable, and saw his picture and he was an Edomite. Showing you that these motherfuckers are wicked as hell. And of course, for the most part, they mostly plan to do something like that to Jake, because when it's coming to Jake, there's more, children amongst the so-called black and Hispanic community. Like, when it's coming to our people are like the stars of the sea. They're the stars of the heaven, and then we're like the sand of the sea. You can't number our people. So they try to find so much ways to basically, to oppress us, these Edomites. And you best believe, with all the affliction that our people go through on average, a lot of our people are not emotionally stable, and they're not financially stable as well. And that's usually pursuant to, like, the curses. So, and why we have, these financial struggles and emotional struggles as well. And this is Isaiah 29 verse 16, surely a turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Exactly. The Most High made a man's rod for a reason, and that's meant to basically protect, like the seed line of the family. And when you have sons, they pretty much they preserve the seed line, because as they have children, they come through your through their father's tribe. That's why the Lord also mentioned in the scriptures, be fruitful and multiply. And 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 17 says, if any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy, for the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple ye are. Exactly. So you shouldn't really be injecting your body with any chemicals that changes its natural use. And that's pretty much like according to Romans, the first chapter, that who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. Why would you want to go as far as to try to change your natural state from injecting these chemicals? And they already mentioned something about, men will have like pretty much like develop breast tissues and some forms of estrogen. You know, that right there is kind of will make men more effeminate if that's the case. With this mandatory chemical castration. That's really defiling your temple right there. And that's why, when it's coming to Romans, the first chapter, like that's why the Most High will give these people unto vile affections, you know, mentally and even especially physically, because they trying to do things that's pretty much anti-Yahweh Shai. That's going against, the Most High, and especially when it's coming to these wicked ass women. Mention that really shows you that when the black bitch posted that on Twitter, and they showed that in the article, her tweet, that really shows you that the black woman is our fucking enemy. Mainly the nation of our women are our enemy in general, but it's just mainly like the black woman for the most part. The so-called black woman, she's our worst fucking enemy. And they're the ones that pretty much be up in those abortion clinics more than any other nation of people. More than any other woman from the other nations. Showing you going according to Lamentations 4:3, these women are like ostriches in the wilderness. They don't regard the life of their young ones, in their womb. Some of them be when they have children, some of them be smoking and drinking still, and they tell you a certain way you're supposed to be as a mother when you have a child. Like you're not supposed to be doing certain things, and they still do it, and they don't be eating right. It's like the worst woman to ever have a kid with, to ever like put your seed into, is the Israelite woman for the most part, most particularly the so-called black woman, the fucking nigger woman. She's the worst. Just to point that out there. It'll be better if you do it with another kingdom woman than the southern kingdom woman. Yeah. But with that, hope I made the lesson edifying. And let's give all glory, praise, and honor to Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Shamalak Yahweh Bashim Rakadash. The honor to apostles and others, great Muslim, peace, teaching on Faleh. Yahweh Bashim Shabbat Bakashash, Shalak Rayam, Arawanyam, Wakawayam, Wa Ababa, Shalom.